Prepare to
This all started a few weeks ago. I will give a little background first. I met my girlfriend just after college, and we have been together for a little over 7 years. We currently live in a 2-bedroom cottage in our hometown. It is very rural where we live, and it takes around an hour to get into the city. We both work in the city, but I work a couple of days a week from home. The company my girlfriend works for is a non-profit charitable organization. She works in the social media department, and their main ethos is to encourage positive change. The videos they promote are usually quite uplifting videos. They share a lot of them, but also create their own. This means that she will occasionally appear in the videos if they are interviewing someone or acting something out. A few weeks ago, she told me to check out one of the videos where she had interviewed someone. I watched the video and then decided to read some of the comments. I am not a very jealous person, but I kind of wanted to know what people were saying, specifically about her. The comments were pretty mundane at first, the usual fight the power type responses. I became a bit obsessed and kept scrolling through. There was the occasional misogynist comment, but nothing I did not expect. That was until I found a few comments that unsettled me. The original comment had around 10 likes and had tagged a number of other accounts. The message said, "We cannot wait for you to join us. You are perfect." I clicked on the replies, and the accounts that had been tagged had all replied. The messages ranged from stating that she was the perfect match for their group to openly discussing what type of underwear they thought she was wearing. This was discussed in quite some detail. I figured it was just a bunch of desperate guys until I read another reply. It said how he had watched her eating her lunch in the park yesterday. He wanted to go up to her and introduce himself, but knew that was not part of the rules. He described in detail what she was wearing. It was exactly what she wore yesterday. I contacted my girlfriend to tell her about this and advised her to delete the comments and contact the admins of the site. I looked through previous videos and saw that these comments were frequent on videos she appeared in. They were always the same and always mentioned her joining them and how she was exactly what they wanted. They were all throwaway accounts, with the only friends being the people that were tagged in the comments. The accounts were reported to the site admins, and we heard nothing more of it for a couple of weeks. That was until late last week. I received a phone call from my girlfriend while I was working from home. "Well, that was unexpected, but how did you get them to agree to putting that?" she said in a giddy tone. "Sorry, I am not sure what you mean. Is everything okay?" I said, confused. "The flowers, silly. I love them. The note was a bit naughty, though. What if my colleagues saw that?" she said, chuckling down the phone. "What do you mean? I did not send flowers." "But who did then?" What did the note say? Maybe they are from your mom? No. She paused, then continued. The note said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. I am using my hand, but thinking of you." What the hell? What? Call the police. That is disgusting, I said, standing up, almost throwing my phone across the room. She sounded shaken up and abruptly ended the call, telling me she was going to contact the police. I drove up to her office later that evening to pick her up, rather than her getting the train. I was terrified at the thought of someone following her once she left the office. The police took the letter in as evidence. They also looked through the comments to see if they could trace the comments back to the people behind the accounts. The flowers had not been sent through a company or courier service, which means that one of these men must have hand-delivered them to the front desk. We were both shaken up on the way home and barely spoke about the incident. Her boss told her to work from home for the rest of the week until everything calmed down. We did not hear anything after that for a few days, and her boss told us that nothing else had arrived at the office. We went to see family this weekend to try and take our mind off things. We arrived back home a few hours ago, and something immediately felt off. The house itself seemed untouched, but the back garden gate was left wide open. I entered the house cautiously and searched the whole house, but found nothing. I went to the back of the cottage and noticed some marks on the back window. It looked as if someone had been clasping their hands together to look inside. We debated calling the police, but we were tired and we could not prove anything. We also live quite far away from the nearest police station, so it would take them a while to get here. We closed all of the curtains and made sure the place was locked up and headed to bed. I kept the phone next to me on speed dial, just in case, and had my trusty bed at the side of the bed. I could not sleep much, so decided to head into the living room and watch some television. I was about to call it a night when I heard some commotion coming from the front of the cottage. I hesitantly walked over to the window and pulled back the curtains slightly. It was dark, but I could make out a number of hooded figures standing around 15 feet from the house. They were swaying in sync with each other and chanting something unintelligible. I opened the curtains a little more to get a better look, and as I did, the figures stopped chanting and stared directly at me. In the brief moment that I looked over at them, I saw their faces. They were men, but their faces were void of any emotion at all. They were completely blank as they stared at me, as if staring through me. I quickly pulled the curtains back in pure terror and stumbled across the hallway back into the bedroom. I grabbed the phone, waking my girlfriend up in all the commotion. She groggily awoke, asking me what was wrong. I told her I would explain in a minute and call the police. I began speaking to the operator when the chanting began to start up once again. I turned away for a brief moment to grab my bat when I noticed the chanting had stopped. I turned around to see my girlfriend peering outside the window. She was completely motionless as I shouted at her to get away from the window. She turned to me, her eyes wide, her face pale in fear. She wanted to scream, but could not formulate a response. I walked over to her and pulled her towards me. She pushed me away slightly and motioned at me to look. The operator asked me to explain what was happening and to stay on the line, but I could not speak. I looked outside of the window at the men who were now perched on their knees. They were performing some kind of prayer or ritual. They were making strange hand gestures in an almost dance-like fashion. They were no longer in sync with each other and were all creating different symbols with their hands. The men gradually got back to their feet and huddled in a circular formation. They broke apart, and one of the men appeared from the center of the circle holding a large, plain white box. He held it above his head before placing it gently in front of the cottage. They performed one final chant before turning around and slowly fading off into the distance. We are sitting here waiting for the police to arrive. I would leave, but I am terrified that they are still out there. They should be here soon. I have no idea who these people are. I have no idea how they found out where we live, and I have no idea what is in that box. I am not sure I want to know.